Hello guys, welcome to the channel ID Simplified, and I hope you're having good time during this holiday season with your family and friends. So today I'm here to talk about scale sets and availability sets within Azure and where you can use it, some of the commonalities between them and also some of the differences too. So we will be talking about these two topics. In case you want to create a scale set or availability set, it's pretty straightforward. You can just go to more services in your Azure subscription and you can just type in for scale set. So it will take you to the virtual machine scale set, and same thing in case you want to create a availability set. You can just type in availability set, and then you can use this GUI based method to create your availability set. Now let me just flip over to my drawing board and let me try to explain some of the common things and some of the maybe the differences between the two. So when we talk about the scale set and availability set, the whole idea about both the option is that you want to make sure that you have business continuity. So for example, if you have web server that you're hosting, right? And you know that you want to make sure that it's highly available, and obviously one VM won't do the job. So what you can do is that you can deploy those web services in maybe two virtual machine, and you can create an availability set and you can put that in front of the load balancer. So in case one goes down, the traffic is diverted to the other web server in that case. So that's the whole idea about the availability set. So one important thing to understand over here, or maybe the differences I can say between the two options, is that you will use availability set if you know the what's gonna be or how many servers you need, or if you have an idea at least of how many servers you need. So if you think that okay, I will need three servers and that will help me to keep my business always running, then you will deploy three or four servers within the availability set, and then you can use the load balancer and traffic manager in these kind of scenario. Now, when it comes to scale sets, and a lot of admins will use this option of scale set, is that when you're not sure how many servers your application will be needing, or maybe in case the IT administrator they want to deploy multiple VMs in one go. So if you want within availability set, you can deploy hundreds and thousands of VMs in one go, and obviously you can utilize the same way the load balancer you use within the availability set, and you can put that, and you can use the traffic manager also in order to utilize that, right? Now, another important thing I want to just mention over here is that you want to make sure that your VMs or your servers are identical within the scale set. That makes the managing of your scale set much more easier. So all these servers in the scale set will be having the same series. So they will be having, say, for example, 7 gig of RAM with two virtual CPUs. So basically, all of them gonna be identical. But in availability set, you can have different kind of series. So one server can be D1 V2, the other one can be a D2 V2 depending upon the requirement. So I think that's one uh, difference that you can say between the two options, right? But the most important thing is, and how I interpret that is that availability set you will use when you are sure that your application will be needing these many servers and that you want to make sure that it's highly available. You will put in availability set, and scale sets you'll use in case you want to deploy multiple VMs or you're not sure how many servers your application will be needing. And obviously, as I mentioned, that in scale set you'll put all the VMs to be identical. In availability set you can have discrete or different kind of VMs. Now, another thing I want to point out over here is that which is common between both scale set and availability set is there is a concept of something what you call a fault domain and update domain. Now, what does that mean is fault domain is, as we know that the Azure infrastructure is running on hypervisor, which is their own hypervisor, which is Hyper-V, and on top of that you have all those virtual machines. So when you deploy either scale set or availability set, they will make sure that it is in separate fault domains. So what does that mean is we know that you have these hypervisor and you have VMs on top of that, right? Actually, let me make another dashboard. So we are talking about the fault domain, right? So we have this hypervisor, in this case it's Hyper-V, and then we have multiple VMs that will be deployed. So these hypervisor will be needing, or this physical server will be needing power supply. It is connected to a switch and everything. So when you deploy your either your scale set or the availability set, Microsoft makes sure that it is in separate fault domains. So in case the power supply or the switch goes down, because your servers are in separate fault domain, your business will be still keep on running. So that is what the fault domain is important to keep in mind. And then there is something what you call update domain, right? So as we know that with any kind of infrastructure, you need to update your machine. So in case Microsoft updates the hypervisor, so all the VMs on top of that needs to be updated or needs to be patched or whatever the case. So that is where the update domain comes into play. So again, whether you're using scale set or availability set, Microsoft will make sure that you have separate update domains, so your server will not be updated at the same time. So again, that's the whole idea when we talk about the business continuity. And if I remember correctly, I think there is a maximum number of three, and I think 20 three fault domain and 20 update domain, but that needs to be checked. You can always go through the documentation of Microsoft. But the whole idea is that Microsoft, the onus is on Microsoft to make sure that your virtual machines or your servers are on separate fault domain and update domain. So that's one important thing that you need to keep in mind. Now, another point I want to make is that when you create a scale set, you can configure like how often you want to deploy another virtual machine, or when the virtual machine will be deployed in case, so say for example, you can create a rule. So in case your CPU reaches say 70% of the utilization, the traffic will be, so your another virtual machine will be spun up and the traffic will be diverted to the secondary or the third, or how many you have put in the scale set. You can configure, and you can also keep the maximum limit, and you can also specify the minimum limit. So when it reaches 70%, the traffic will be diverted to the other one, and when it reaches, say for example, 25 or 30 or 40%, depending upon what you choose, it will be back to the way it was initially what you have configured. And also in the scale set, you can put a maximum limit, like uh, how many maximum servers you want to deploy in a scale set. So you can specify that I want 10, I want 20, I want 100, or you can deploy thousands too. So that's the whole idea about the scale set, which is different from availability set, is that you can click of a button, you can specify, you can tell Microsoft that this is the limit, this is these many servers I want to be in scale set. And as I mentioned, creating of scale set or availability set is pretty straightforward. You can just go to the more services and you can just do a quick search by typing in, and then you can follow the wizard. And this actually I'll do it in my next video. I will show you what are the options when it comes to configuring the scale set, because I had already created a couple of videos on the availability sets and what are the different options when you're deploying via the Azure graphical user interface. So this video was on scale set and availability sets, and under what case scenarios you will use this. I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.